Okay, good morning. Committee on Transportation has a 10 o'clock hearing. Okay, it's Wednesday, February 10th, 2021, and conference room 423. Okay, just a reminder, we do have a 2-minute limit. Okay. Okay, up first, House Bill 1195 relating to highways. Okay, up first we have DOT.
Good morning, Chair Aquino, Vice Chair Ilagan, and committee members. Jay Butay for DOT. We stand on our submitted written testimony offering comments.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. Okay, members, we have Michael Rice.
Hi, sorry about that. Basically, I do want to start my testimony, but I believe this really needs to go through. I've been a lifelong resident of Makaha, and we've always, anytime I need to go past Nanakuli, even into Nanakuli, I hate going into because it takes at least 45 minutes with no traffic. And that's not even counting back in the days like that one. I forget what it was. There was a hostage situation on Nanakuli Avenue, and that shut down the entire Waianae coast for more than a day, just because one guy took a gun out, was at an intersection. Even the current bypass road that they have would not have helped in that situation because it would have been right there. He was right in the intersection. In my my testimony, I submitted a rough idea for a path they could do to perhaps build a H4 highway extending from Kualakai Parkway to Lulule Road. I mean, of course, it would require tunneling because it'd be going through the mountains, but it's important, and I hope that it's considered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, we did receive a good number of testimony in support. I believe we do have one opposition and one with comments. Any others wishing to testify I might have missed? Yes, seeing none, members, are there any questions? Okay, I have a quick question for the department. Okay, there was in your testimony, you mentioned that the discussions on second access will be discussed in a current study that's going on. Could you further elaborate on that?
Sure, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, G.
Yeah, I'll yield to Deputy Director of Highways, Ed Sniffen. He has the best and complete answer.
Okay, thank you, Director. Deputy?
Hello, Chair, committee members, Ed Sniffen from DOT. We put forward on a study that we started prior to COVID to ensure that we looked at all options for Leeward Coast. And one of them, of course, is the full second access into the coast. There's other options that we're considering, looking at parallel routes throughout to try and minimize the congestion portions in those different areas. And we're looking at the cost-benefit analysis for all of that. In general, that study is going to be done in June of this year. But in general, the results will be the same as those studies that were done for the past 15 years. That an additional route or a route, second access into the Leeward Coast is going to be upwards of $300 to $500 million and will have significant impacts to cultural and historic resources on the Maka side. This has been studied for a while, and it's been very difficult for the state to get through those issues in the past, the funding piece and the impact piece. For us, we're looking at ensuring that we focus on the corridor that we have on Farrington Highway to make sure that that corridor works better than it does today. We're putting in adaptive signal technology throughout that corridor, and we're widening that portion of the corridor up to Hakimo Road to ensure that we can contraflow to a significant length in that area. We know that can be done. We know that can be done for $30 million within a reasonable time frame. When we start pushing down the path of a second access, it becomes very difficult to time when that's going to be done and to place how that would be funded. But that will all come out in the report that's coming through.
Okay. And that's scheduled for when again, Deputy?
June of this year, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. Or before we do that, just want to note that we did receive one late testimony from an individual in support. Okay. Okay, moving on to House Bill 598 related to tobacco products. Okay, up first we have DOTAX.
Good morning, Jacob Hurlitz on behalf of the Department of Taxation. We'll stand on our written comments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I believe we have testimony and comments with the Attorney General's office. Okay, Department of Health. Okay, support. We have noted down for live testimony, Tax Foundation of Hawaii. Okay, with comments. Okay. HFIA.
Good morning. I'm Alexis Chapman for HFIA. Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. HFIA has submitted comments on this measure. Specifically, we're in support of portions of the bill that seek to regulate the shipping of electronic smoking devices and e-liquid. Data shows that the majority of underage people who use electronic smoking devices buy them online or get them from their friends. Regulating the shipping of these products is a common sense way to keep them out of the hands of young people. We oppose sections of the bill that seek to increase fees on retail tobacco licenses and permits. This measure would increase the fees for tobacco by 10,000%, which seems excessive and unnecessary. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I am available for questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Up next, we have the Hawaii Dental Association. Okay. Hawaii Substance Abuse Coalition. Okay, both in support. Okay. Okay, up next, I think we have American Vaping Association.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for having me. My name is Gregory Conley, and I currently run a nonprofit organization called the American Vaping Association, which advocates for sensible policies towards vaping products with the end goal of lessening America's smoking rate. And we're here today to oppose House Bill 598 on behalf of Hawaii adult vapers who have used these products to kick a deadly cigarette habit. I want to just give the committee a brief update on what is going on at the federal level. First, just recently, Congress passed a bill strictly regulating online sales. Hawaii, in that bill, has special status where intrastate shipping of vaping products will be permitted if they go through a series of very tough enforcement measures, including registration, collecting and paying any taxes, only shipping with a service that requires ID at delivery. So just going to a ban when we have a new congressional act with teeth that will actually could put people in prison or jail for disobeying it. I don't know why we are moving towards a ban. On the actual product front, the FDA is currently putting all of these products through what's known as a retroactive pre-market review process. So all of the flavors that you are concerned about today, by the time this bill goes into effect, the FDA may have already ruled and either taken them off the market or imposed very strict marketing conditions. I understand the need to lower youth usage, but when we have research as submitted in our testimony that shows, one, America's smoking rate is actually increasing during COVID-19, and two, that vaping product taxes, even when accompanied by high cigarette taxes, lead to more smoking and less quitting. I think we need a better response. There was another bill pending that attempted to do a bifurcated taxation system within the Hawaiian legislature. I think that is a better approach. I'll be glad to answer any questions, but thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Tommy Noyes. Okay, Kobe Takeda. Okay, both in support. Okay, up next we have Tim Andrews, Americans for Tax Reform.
Tim is in another hearing, so he won't be making it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In opposition, okay, Hawaii Primary Care Association, Eric Abe. Okay, the comments. Wed Public Health Institute.
Hi, Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. Jessica Yamauchi, Executive Director for the Hawaii Public Health Institute, which houses the Coalition for Tobacco-Free Hawaii. We are in very strong support of this bill, which regulates electronic smoking devices. And you have our written testimony. Just a couple of things I wanted to highlight. We have been working on these regulations proposed in this bill for over 5 years. And each year that this bill fails, we fail our children. We have not seen our youth e-cigarette rates decrease or even plateau. Unfortunately, they continue to rise. And we have seen that comprehensive regulation works with decreasing our cigarette rates, and we need to apply that same practice with e-cigarettes. With the COVID-19 pandemic, measures to improve health are of increased importance. In May 2020, Stanford University published a landmark study that found teens and young adults that used e-cigarettes had a 5 to 7 times greater chance of being diagnosed with COVID-19 than those that did not use e-cigarettes. It's imperative that Hawaii passes comprehensive legislation regulating e-cigarettes to curb usage and protect the health of our keiki. We thank you for hearing this bill and for the opportunity to testify in strong support.
Okay, thank you very much. Up next, we have Cynthia Au, American Cancer Society.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. Cynthia Au testifying on behalf of American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. We support this measure and we stand on our submitted testimony. We recommend that any shipment of tobacco products be shipped directly to in-state licensed tobacco retailers. Any consumers who orders tobacco products online or otherwise should be required to pick up their order in person at an in-state licensed tobacco retailer. Any out-of-state tobacco retailers delivering products to Hawaii should also be licensed. This will help prevent sales to anyone under the age of 21. We also recommend requiring e-cigarettes in and out-of-state retailers to apply for a license and appear on an authorized license list published by the department. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of this matter.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, with your indulgence, we're going to go back to Department of Health. I think you had some technical issues, so I think they're on now. Department of Health.
Thank you, Chair Aquino and Vice Chair Ilagan and members of the committee. I'm Lola Irvin, representing Director Libby Char for the Department of Health. And the Department of Health supports HB 598 and appreciates the committee hearing this bill. We learned that the youth said that 60% of them purchased these products from friends. And then we have direct stories from youth who said that they were able to purchase these products online and have them delivered to their homes or to the homes of older friends. In Hawaii for 2019, the rate of high school vaping is 30.6%. For the neighbor islands, it's even higher. Hawaii County, 35.4%, Kauai, 35.9%, and Maui, 36.4%. So the rates are not going down. They continue to go up each year. And we know that in terms of access and availability of these products, that it is very important to address how the youth are getting it. And while the USPS will have great restrictions, the private delivery businesses that we so rely on in Hawaii are not going to be restricted. 88% of Hawaii's high school students said that they have one or more best friends who use e-cigarettes. So unfortunately, these products have become very normalized. And at a time when we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's very, very concerning.
Excuse me, your 2 minutes is up, so if you could please summarize.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the opportunity to provide testimony and for hearing this bill.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, up next, we have Scott Razak, Volcano Vape Shops. Okay, in opposition. Okay, Mitzi Higa, HSTA. Okay, also in support, in support. Aloha Care, Trish La Chica. Okay, in support, American Heart Association, Don Wiseman.
Aloha, Chair Aquino and members of the committee. I'm trying to come off. Here we go, start my video. Here we go. American Heart Association stands in strong support of this measure. It will help to keep parity with traditional tobacco products, which is important to help keep vaping products out of the hands of our children, our keiki. It's important from a cardiovascular standpoint because while you may hear claims that e-cigarettes have been proven to be safer than cigarettes related to cancer and maybe some other maladies, but with heart disease, the research is showing that they have an equal effect, and heart disease and stroke remain the leading causes of death and disability in our state. When young people use nicotine products, it alters their brain as it develops, and it also causes the formation of more ACE receptors in their body. That's what the nicotine latches onto to help fulfill the desire for more nicotine. So you get more ACE receptors. What we're finding with COVID-19 is that COVID-19 actually latches onto ACE receptors, and that's one of the ways it's infecting the bodies. And that's why we're seeing higher or worse outcomes related to cardiovascular disease for people who have COVID-19. It can cause clotting issues in the body when you have COVID-19 because it latches onto the ACE receptors, which are throughout your blood vessels. And then I want to point out that the current federal ban on shipping these products only applies to the United States Postal Service. It doesn't apply to the private shipping services. So this is still needed for Hawaii to make sure that the shippers aren't using, private services to send to our kids. So we stand in strong support, and I appreciate this opportunity to testify. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, we do have a good number of testimony that came in from mostly individuals, both in support and in opposition. Any others I might have missed on House Bill 598? Okay, seeing none, members, are there any questions? House Bill 598. Okay, no questions. Let's move on to the next measure. Thank you. House Bill 824, relating to intoxicating liquor. Okay. Okay. Report requirements. Okay, up first we have Matson Navigation Company. Okay, the comments. Okay, members, Hawaii Liquor Wholesalers Association. Okay, support. Okay, members, I believe that's pretty much the testimony. Okay, are there any questions? House Bill 824. Okay, seeing none, let's move on. House Bill 485, relating to taxation, rental motor vehicle surcharge. Okay, up first, we have toll tax.
Good morning again, Chair. Jacob Hurlitz on behalf of the Department of Taxation. We will stand on our written testimony offering comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Tax Foundation of Hawaii. Okay. Also with comments, Avis Budget Group.
Oh, hi, good morning, Chair Aquino, Vice Chair Elegant, and members of the committee. Kendall Matsuyoshi testifying on behalf of Avis Budget in opposition to House Bill 485. 2 years ago, we raised the surcharge tax from $3 to $5, and combined with the customer facility charge, Hawaii has one of the highest surcharges in the country. We realize that there's a 2-year effective date, but the industry has suffered a significant revenue loss since the pandemic. So we just ask that you allow the industry to fully recover before considering any increases or fees. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Enterprise Holdings.
Good morning, Chair. Matt Sujimura on behalf of Enterprise Holdings. You have our written testimony, and I'll echo the testimony of the lobbyist from Avis. The one thing I would point out is that in the statewide, rental cars actually only make up about 5% of the total registered motor vehicles in the state, and yet that 5% actually contributes over 26% of the state highway fund as it stands right now. And so, we do stand in opposition to House Bill 485. because again, it would represent practically a tripling of the fee over the last 3 years. But happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, we do have late testimony from DOT.
Chair, apologize for the late testimony, but we stand on our testimony in support with comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, that's all the testimony we have. Any others we might have missed out there? Okay, seeing none, members, do we have any questions? House Bill 485. Okay, no questions. I have a quick question for DOT or DOTAX. What are we projecting? I mean, there's a lot to consider with the pandemic, but with the $3, what can we expect in terms of collections?
I don't have a revenue estimate right now, but I can put in a request if you would like me to send one to the committee and see if we can get it done sooner than later.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Okay, I will do that.
Yourself, and then I'll go ahead and distribute to the committee members.
Okay, I will do that, Chair. Thank you.
DOT, any comments on that?
Yeah, likewise with us, Chair, for highways, I think the revenue collection of the rental car surcharge is down almost 90%. So, but yeah, we don't have a revenue projection, but I'm not, in terms of raising the surcharge, I don't know if it's the right time. I mean, maybe we should look at it when the tourist comes back.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to House Bill 408. Okay, relating to transportation. Okay, up first we have DOTAX.
Good morning again, Chair. Jacob Hurlitz on behalf of the Department of Taxation. We will stand on our written testimony offering comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. AG's office, Attorney General's office. Okay, with comments. Tax Foundation of Hawaii. Okay, also the comments. Okay, Windward Coalition. Michelle Matson. Both in support. Members, we do have individual testimonies. Majority of them are in support, and I believe we have one opposition and no late testimony. So are there any others that we might have missed? House Bill 408. Okay, members, any questions?
I have a question for the Attorney General.
Rep Nakamura.
Thank you, Chair. I have a question for the Attorney General. Is he or she online?
I believe not.
Oh, okay. That's all right then. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Any other questions? We're still on 408. Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure, House Bill 333, relating to peer-to-peer sharing. Okay, up first, we have DOTAX.
Good morning again, Chair. Jacob Hurlitz on behalf of the Department of Taxation. We'll stand on our written testimony offering comments and noting that we've recently promulgated some temporary administrative rules related to this subject, and we brought those to the committee's attention in our testimony. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Up next, DCCA, Insurance Commissioner.
Good morning, Chair Aquino, Paul Yun for Colin Hayashida, DCCA. We stand on our testimony. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. Office of Consumer Protection.
Good morning. I'm Steve Levins, Executive Director of the Office of Consumer Protection. This bill attempts to fill a void that currently exists in the law in which peer-to-peer is not directly regulated. We think it should be regulated. It doesn't exactly fit the car rental model. However, this particular bill, which appears to be modeled in large part on a model bill by the National Council of Insurance Legislators is not protective entirely for consumers. The group that got together did not involve consumer protectors. Consequently, we have concerns about this particular bill. We have proposed an HD1 that seeks to rectify what we perceive as deficiencies in consumer protection. Essentially, it beefs up the disclosure provisions, the insurance provisions with respect to the interests of consumers and the people who are going to be driving these vehicles. And it also takes care of a large deficiency with respect to motor vehicle recalls. Because right now, the way this bill is operating is the peer-to-peer platform only has the obligation to ensure that the vehicle is not subject to recall when it's first put on the platform. And obviously, recalls happen all the time, and a vehicle may be subject to recall after it's initially enrolled in the program. And it's critical that there is a continuing obligation on the part of the platform to make sure that unsafe and dangerous vehicles aren't being offered to the public to drive. Thank you, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, up next, Tax Foundation of Hawaii. Okay, comments, Enterprise Holdings.
Good morning, Chair. Matt Fujimura again on behalf of Enterprise Holdings. Enterprise stands in support of HB 333. We really feel that this bill provides market parity across all of the transportation opportunities for both residents as well as tourists. The one addition that Enterprise has proposed in our written testimony is just language potentially for a committee report with regards to peer-to-peer operations at airports. As you know, the HRS does stipulate that any vendor or company doing business at the airport needs to be doing so at the agreement with the airport division or the Department of Transportation. So we've just proposed language to capture that, but happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Up next, Turo Inc.
Good morning, Chair Kino, Vice Chair Illigan, members of the committee. Tammy Bowie on behalf of our Turo community and in support of House Bill 333. Turo is a peer-to-peer car sharing online marketplace made possible by local car owners. And these are individuals who share their car with others while earning a little extra income that range from helping to recover the high cost of car ownership, expenses related to cost of living, and in these times, unfortunately, help in economic hardship. The bill before you is the culmination of several years of ongoing conversations related to the regulation of this new industry, and it is indeed based upon model legislation from the National Council of Insurance Legislators. It has since been adopted in nearly a dozen states. In truly listening and acknowledgement of the specific issues raised here in the state of Hawaii, we have made 3 key compromises that I'm happy to share with you today. First, with all due respect to the consumer protection advocate, I would like to highlight that we indeed have language in this bill that ensures consumer safety protections related to recalls. We take safety precautions very seriously, which is why the platform would ensure that no cars on this platform have an active recall, both in order to be listed as well as, again, before it can be shared with a driver. And the same provision has already been adopted in the state of Maryland. Secondly, at the request of the Hawaii Insurance Council, we have removed language related to insurable interest. And then finally, we heard you loud and clear and agree and understand to the need to include a surcharge. We look forward to a holistic discussion and this being a reasonable amount that is applied to Hawaii residents who belong to the peer-to-peer car sharing community. Again, other than those 3 areas, this bill is based upon the foundation of model legislation, and we ask that it stay true to its intent. On behalf of Hawaii residents who are part of our peer-to-peer car sharing community, I respectfully ask for your support of House Bill 333.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, up next we have Hawaii Association for Justice.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. Nahalani Webster, testifying on behalf of Hawaii Association for Justice in opposition to HB 3333. To speak to the highlights in our testimony, our main concern is similar to what was raised by the Office of Consumer Protection. It's regarding a gap in insurance created by this bill. Individual motor vehicle policies, they commonly exclude coverage for injuries arising from the use of auto for business or financial gain. This means that when you engage in using the app, your actions then become a financial gain or business purpose, and therefore your own personal policies are then excluded. This is why we view a peer-to-peer platform in the same way we view transportation network companies. We encourage the committee to look at putting it on the burden of the company making a profit to carry its own insurance coverage, just as Uber and Lyft do. Thank you for the opportunity to testify and available if you have questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Up next, we have TechNet. In support, and Jocelyn Mugat. Okay, also in support, members, we do have some late testimony. Let's see, Insurance Division, Paul Yuen. DOT.
Yes.
Chair, we stand on our testimony in support.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Rose Feliciano. Okay. As well as Avail, Allstate. Okay, both in support. Okay, members, again, for your indulgence, I believe Tax Foundation is on.
Thank you, Chair. Tom Yamachika from Tax Foundation. We have provided written comments. We'll stand on those. They're very short. It's similar to Geotax's testimony. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any others I might have missed? Okay. Regarding House Bill 333. Okay. Seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, no questions. Let's move on. House Bill 795, relating to public safety. Okay, up first, we have Hawaii Department of Defense, Frank Pace.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Frank Pace, Administrator for the Office of Homeland Security. We stand on our comments as submitted and are available for any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Hawaii Police Department. In support. Okay, let's see. Members, we do have some late testimony. Maui Police Department. And HLTA. Okay. Okay, both in support. Any others wishing to testify I might have missed? Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to recess for decision making. convening our 10 o'clock agenda for decision making. Okay, up first, House Bill 1195. Members, recommendation is to defer. Okay, up next, House Bill 598. Okay, members, recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1. We're going to put an effective date of July 1st, 2050. We're going to carve out some of the tax provisions since there's another measure that was that came out of the Health Committee, I believe. Okay. Everything else stays in. Okay. Members, any questions or concerns? Seeing none, Vice Chair, House Draft 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 598 with amendments. Seeing the members, I'm going to call you guys out. Chair is aye. Vice Chair is aye. Rep. Decoit?
Aye.
Rep. Hashimoto?
Aye.
Rep. Kitagawa?
Aye.
Rep. Nakamura?
Aye.
Rep. Takumi?
Aye.
Rep. Matsumoto?
Aye.
With all members voting aye, the recommendations of the chair is adopted with amendments.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, up next, House Bill 824. Okay, recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1 with an effective date, July 1st, 2050. I'm gonna make a few amendments. Okay, the report preservation language will be moved to 3 years, not 4. And also the report required by companies will cover all counties, so one statewide report. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 824 with amendments, recognizing all the members. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no? With all members voting aye, the recommendation of the chair is now adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to House Bill 485. Related to taxation, members, like to move this as a House Draft 1. Effective date of July 1st, 2050. And we're gonna blank the amount at this time. Okay. So $8 to blank. Any questions or concerns, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 485 with amendments, recognizing all the members. We're going to do a voice vote. Any votes with reservations? Any votes no? With all members voting aye, the recommendation of the chair is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to House Bill 408. Members, we're going to defer due to some of the concerns brought up by the AGs. Okay, moving on to HB 333, relating to peer-to-peer. Members, recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1. Okay. Effective July 1st, 2050. We're going to incorporate in the committee report the Sanhai language that was offered and mentioned by Matt Sujimura. And members, also we're going to note OCP's comments in testimony for CPC consideration. Okay. Members, any questions? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 333 with amendments, recognizing the members. Any members voting with reservations? Any members voting no? With all members voting aye, the recommendation of the chair is now adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to House Bill 795. Okay, members, we're going to defer this measure as well. Okay, we're going to move right into our DM only calendar. Okay, members, House Bill 1094 relating to concessions. Members, recommendation is to defer. There's further work needed between DOT and the concessions group. Okay, and mostly in regards to the discretion language, okay, as well as the relief triggers. Okay, so defer. And same thing with House Bill 35. We're going to defer. Okay. Thank you very much. We're adjourned.